Okay, it's Sunday. But wait, I got to meal prep my healthy breakfasts for the week, meal prep my ginger shots, do my Sunday reset, everything shower, scrub, shave, do my hair routine, exfoliate my skin, do a face mask, lay my outfits out for the week, do my bullet journal spread so I'll be organized, plan my schedule, meditate, read, manifest, stretch, workout. Boom. Explosion. You lose your mind and now you're in a rut. If you've ever experienced that before, this episode is to make sure that never happens to you again. Like me, maybe you've already felt so overwhelmed with every single thing you told yourself you were going to do. You were so productive, you became almost overproductive. You got so obsessed with the results you wanted out of your goals and dreams that your mental health got thrown out of the window. You forget about enjoying the journey, about being present and enjoying life. And the hyperproductivity could last a few weeks at most, but then you crash and you get into a rut. You feel depressed, tired, moody, and just bad. And that happened to me several times before, and I'm going to share the things that I do to balance productivity with joy. In this episode, we're going to talk about the common signs of glow-up burnout and how to make growth sustainable by using balance, the mindset that you can adopt right now, and the best practices and things you can do to avoid drawbacks and just have a more enjoyable life. I've collected all the signs of potential glow-up burnout. And what I mean with glow-up burnout, it's when you set yourself all those goals. It could be, external, internal, like self-development goals. And you get so obsessed with self-development that then you burn out from doing too much of it, which doesn't make any sense because self-development is supposed to be something that helps you grow and helps you become a better person every day. And burning out from that doesn't make any sense, because it's ultimately creating a drawback when it's supposed to make you grow faster and easier. I think one of the first signs that you might get too obsessed with your self-development and potentially burn out from it is when you start to get obsessed with the results of your goals or over-obsessed with being productive 24/7. Like being productive becomes your obsession and you forget that life is supposed to be lived, or you feel irritable, tired, or just disconnected from life in general. And all the tasks that you impose on yourself are weighing you down instead of uplifting you, which is creating this depression in your mood. Or maybe your big dream or goal that was meaning to your life starts to feel monotonous or miserable. I would force myself to story write because I'm writing a novel, and I have been for a long time. It was my dream when I was ever since I was a little kid, and so I got better at writing. And in my free time, I would write this story in my mother tongue, French, because I'm way better at writing it, and I'm actually able to write really beautiful things. But then it takes a long time to story write. Like one really good page takes about 1 hour. And you have to organize everything. And writing a book, it's so much more complicated than a lot of people think. It requires a lot of planning and a lot of collecting information and a lot of, creating your storyline and your plot and your characters and everything. And so I would force myself, and it felt more like homework than actually something fun. And it took the fun away from it. Or maybe your glow up starts to feel like a punishment and not self-love anymore. And I'm talking more like external habits here for your appearance, because you set yourself all these things that you have to do in order to be beautiful. And so you have to do them every week, and it's just very overwhelming. Or maybe you feel guilty for resting. For example, if I skipped a workout or a stretching routine, I would sometimes feel guilty. But if you skip it once, it's not going to ruin your entire progress if the rest of the time you're very consistent with it. Maybe you make a to-do list that is too long, or you only feel good after you check things off. Like you aim too high and then you feel disappointed in yourself because you didn't do the 20 things that were on your to-do list. Maybe you start to avoid specific tasks that you set because they feel forced or horrible, like things you really don't enjoy doing. It could be, this is a totally random example, but maybe a gua sha massage. Like you set yourself that you were going to do a gua sha massage every single day because you've heard all the amazing benefits of it on the internet. But you hate doing it. So every time you do it, you just don't like it and you want to get over with it. But you still do it because people on the internet have told you that it's, the thing you should be doing to have a sculpted face or whatever. Maybe you lack motivation and you don't see a point in growing as an individual anymore. Your efforts start to feel pointless. That was, for me, a major sign that I was about to hit rock bottom. Every time when this idea or this feeling would pop into my head, like, oh, my efforts are just pointless. What is the point of growing as an individual? What is the point of self-growth and self-development? Like, why am I doing this? I would tell myself, okay, I need to rest now. Or maybe you feel like self-development is a job, like you take it as a job and all these things you have to do. Probably because you're doing every single trend that you see on the internet because someone told you it was going to transform your productivity or your beauty or whatever. You can't hop on every single trend ever. You have to choose the most efficient practices and tailor them to your present life and goals. You can't just, for example, so-called beauty hacks that you see on the internet, and you might see a video or several videos and you're like, okay, I have to start doing all of these things, but do you even know if they're efficient? Do you even know if they're gonna work, if there's like scientific evidence behind it? You can't just hop on every single trend just because the person that made it influenced you to do that. Or another major thing is that you start hating routines that you used to love. If you're experiencing these signs over a longer period of time, or you've already crashed and are in a non-productive place right now, I want to talk about the specific mindset to adopt and the things that you can do to make that mindset stick. About the mindset, I realized recently that was really the main mindset, that once you master this, I feel like you master everything. It's the balance mindset, or that's how I like to call it. The most difficult thing to master, in my opinion, because girls and women today are given such contradictory advice. And I feel like always the advice is so confusing and so contradictory. Like, you should be feminine and soft, but you should also be successful, smart, and grind all the time and, earn a lot of money. Or you should know how to be productive, but you should also rest. You should go on solo dates and enjoy being alone, but also be very, very social and have lots of friends and have lots of connections. You should center your life all around yourself and care for yourself, but also care for others and make it all about them to be more magnetic, Ask only questions about them. Or you should always look pretty and put together, but if you do makeup, face masks, or wear nice outfits, you're too obsessed with your appearance. You should eat healthy, but also treat yourself sometimes. You should save money, but also treat yourself to gifts. You should be authentic, but not too loud or affirm your opinions too strongly, because that's not proper. See what I mean? Everything is like that. And balancing everything is hard and can seem impossible, but once you master it, I really think that life becomes more enjoyable because you know how to balance everything so that it's the perfect equilibrium. To keep a balanced mindset, before we talk about the specific way of thinking, I think it's really important to include in your days bubbles of happiness or rest so you can actually enjoy working towards your goals. And you can do that by starting by writing a list of all the little and big things that make you happy in this world. You could pause right now maybe find a prompt on Pinterest or something and write everything that makes you happy. Then add that to your days. I recently, a few months ago, made a list, or I answered a prompt about the things that you enjoyed as a child. And I actually, for 1 hour, things just kept popping in my head. And I wrote a really long list of all the things that I enjoyed when I was a child. And I thought, wow, I really felt like I reconnected, or I thought about things that I never actually think about. And it just made me really happy to see these things written on paper. And I don't mean adding new tasks to your days to make them even more hard to bear. I mean little breaths of fresh air, like listen to music in your shower on Monday morning, or prep your favorite breakfast Sunday night so that on Monday morning you have something to look forward to. What I would like doing is on Mondays, because when it's Monday morning at school, everyone's complaining like, Monday sucks and we have to come back to school, or we have to come back to work, or whatever your current occupation is. So I would like to make Monday special. Like maybe I would wear an outfit that was more elevated, or maybe I would spend a little bit more time on my makeup, or maybe I would make a breakfast that tasted better, or listen to music. Like make Monday special so that it wouldn't be this day that I hated. You could randomly go sit in a park after work or school on a sunny day and out of the blue listen to birds and enjoy nature, or take a half an hour nap. Even if you don't have time, you can take a really short nap, or call your long distance best friend, or buy yourself something nice. It's sad how we forget to do these things because they're so simple. And you can do them whenever. They don't, necessitate a lot of time. But the ultimate thing that doesn't take any extra time is just to think differently. I have some days where I'm especially elevated and happy, and on those days I think differently, and so I see the world differently, and so I feel differently. Like the world appears differently to me. The other day, a few days ago, I was walking all alone in the countryside on a sunny day, and how many times I thought, life is beautiful. I actually felt so good and so present, and all my problems seemed like non-existent. Look at those birds, the butterfly that stopped on a leaf next to me. Look at all those flowers and how good they smell. Look at this couple over there with their little child laughing together. Look at the sun rays that are bathing my body in warm light, and all the nature that was so beautiful. Why can't we think like that all the time, or just more often? Why is it so normalized to be negative and think only about the negative things? Burnout is all in our heads, so how else can we avoid it than to change the way we see the world? But especially glow up burnout is low-key ridiculous. I try so hard to become better, and I end up sabotaging myself by doing that. That sounds really messed up, but it is the reality because it's happened to me several times, and I know it's happened to other people as well. So if, like me, you are too harsh on yourself and sometimes you attach your self-worth to your achievements, try to be kinder with yourself. Look how hard you're trying to grow and become better. That's already amazing. It's always been a major problem with me. I would never feel satisfied about whatever I did, no matter how good. If my grades weren't full points, if I got a 9.5 out of 10, which in the Finnish system is really good, I was disappointed. If my ballet performance wasn't flawless, and it's impossible to have a flawless ballet performance, I was disappointed in myself. If my judo throw, back when I did judo, wasn't perfectly executed, I would frown and angrily start again and again. If I got criticism that was even worse, I would be so angry at myself for doing something wrong. I needed to be more self-compassionate, and it's something still I really need to work on. And I feel like a lot of people also have to work on that, because we all have this self-hating dialogue that is just so normalized that we don't even realize that we do. Now on to the next chapter, which is the little tools that you can use. I think meditation, I've talked about this in like every single episode because it's tool that you can use. It's the remedy to everything. I really feel like it's the remedy to everything. And I really want to make some kind of episode on this. But again, it's the best of tools, because you could just lay down on your bed and feel your body. You don't even need to listen to an audio. You could just pay attention to the sounds and the tiniest thing that you might feel, from your pulse to slightly tingling sensation in your wrist. If you've never meditated before, you will find that your mind comes back to your problems again and again and makes these weird movies in your head that have never even happened. But that is the whole point of meditation. And I really encourage you to try it out if you've never done it before. You might want to start with some kind of guided meditation. I like doing the Jon Kabat-Zinn guided meditations on YouTube. It's also in English. I do it in French, but you can also have it. The original one is in English at least. And the second thing that I like to do is to make life feel more playful. It's really underrated, but also misunderstood, because people think it's about adding more tasks to their schedule. But honestly, it's a bit more of a mindset than actions you can take. You can romanticize with external things that are aesthetic, sure, but the playfulness has to come from you. You have to see the world as playful and fun, and it will become so for yourself. It's as simple as that. But my best tips to balance your life effectively, especially because everyone has something going on in their lives. It doesn't matter if you're a middle school, high school student, a college student, or if you're working full-time, part-time, whatever you're doing. I really recommend choosing 3 goals that you want to focus on right now. Even if, your yearly goals have, like me on my wall, on my left, I'm looking at it right now. I have 6 categories with 10 goals each. You can't achieve all of that immediately. You have to choose 3 goals that you want to focus on right now, and choose your priorities in this phase of your life right now and focus on them. Maybe in the next phase of your life, you might want to focus on other goals that fit with your current lifestyle that has evolved. I'm looking at my bullet journal right now, and I did my mid-year reset where I looked at the goals that I wanted to prioritize, the goals that I wanted to drop, and the new goals that I have to work on now because I have new things that have come into my life. I'm moving to a new country, for example, that is Spanish speaking. So I have to start learning Spanish more. I'm moving into a brand new high school. So I have to work on really improving my confidence and my detachment and my presence and my boundaries so that I don't attract toxic people like I've always done when I move into a new school. Because of the past school that I was in, we had really, really short lunchtime. So I have the habit now of eating too fast. So now I want to eat with chopsticks to kind of try and eat slowly. And also up my protein intake because I realized that I wasn't eating enough protein. If you haven't seen my protein episode, I highly recommend you check it out. And I also wanted to prioritize cold showers because it's really hot right now and I really want to work on my immunity. Going to bed early because in the new school that I'm going to, I'm probably going to have to wake up at 5:30 in the morning. So it's really important that I go to bed early so I can wake up early and start working on it now, even though school starts in a month. I really wanted to focus on my podcasts and my story writing because I have time right now. And also reviewing all my studying because I'm moving into a new school, and my meditation because it's really important that I meditate so that I don't lose my mind when I move to a different country and a different environment and change all my friends and change my lifestyle so that I don't go crazy. And my ballet goals because of course ballet is always in the center of my life. And I wanted to drop TED Talks because I would listen to TED Talks really often, but right now I just don't have time anymore. I think I'm going to drop that right now. And also I would do Khan Academy economics, like this course, but I'm going to drop it because right now, again, I have to concentrate on the other things and I don't have time for that right now. So, closing my bullet journal, if you want to do this little mid-year reset, I encourage you to do that. And cut the goals that make you feel horrible, that you picked up because they're trendy on internet. Maybe some goals feel forced and bad because you didn't actually choose them. Other people, society, or random influencers influenced you to choose that habit even though it doesn't align to who you actually want to become. My 2 last things that I recommend you do is choose one day in your week where you take a break from all the big goals, like fully. It doesn't mean that you stop eating healthy, you stop working out, and you have a 3-hour screen time that day. I just mean stepping away from all the hustling for 24 hours. Maybe like a self-care day where you do all the things that you love to do. Maybe on your childhood activities thing. I don't know, go in a park and go on a swing or climb a tree or bake something, your favorite thing that you liked as a child or whatever you want to do, and just step away from all your big goals for just 24 hours. And my last tip is to choose to become more conscious and present while you do the tasks you set for yourself over hustling a lot and forgetting that you're even living. The book, The Power of Now, really transformed my view on this. I highly recommend you read it. Another thing that I want to make an episode about. I feel like every time I'm recording an episode, I talk about the other bazillion episodes that I want to make. But what you can do is really focus on while you're working towards that goal, whatever it is. Maybe you're taking a cold shower. Instead of thinking, oh my gosh, this sucks and it's horrible, and I just want to get my end result already, just focus on how it feels afterwards. Because if you've taken cold showers before, you know that once you've taken it, you feel so good and light and elevated and happy. Or maybe you're cooking a healthy meal. Instead of thinking that it sucks to cook and that you hate to cook, you can concentrate on how things smell and the sounds, like the sizzling and things like that. It can really help. What you can also do is focus more on how you feel than on how things look. One thing, you can stick a post-it on your wall and ask yourself in the morning how you want to feel today. And what are the things that you can do or the way that you can think to achieve that. Now moving on to the next chapter and the last chapter, which is the self-love bucket list. I talked earlier about doing the things that you love, but a lot of people don't even know what they love. Isn't that scary? Reflecting deeply on what you loved as a child and maybe still do deep down but don't do anymore is really, really helpful. Do you like to walk under the rain, to feel the raindrops on your face? Do you like to feel the wind in your hair, to walk all alone in your favorite nature place, to read a book on a tree branch? It could be the most random things that apply to you. Did you like to jump in waves when you were little, or dress up, or hug trees? I'm giving examples that apply to what I liked as a child, but it really depends on what you like. You have to make a list of everything. That's now your self-love bucket list. And whenever you feel like you need a little ray of sunshine, you can pick something from that list. Ultimately, the thing that I want you to remember is that it's about living your life and being joyful and fulfilled as can be. Goals are just there to make life even more meaningful and have something to strive for. The pursuit of superiority, like it was said in The Courage to Be Disliked, another good book I suggest you read one day. To become a better, stronger, wiser, and healthier individual, to strive in an even better, more abundant life. But ultimately, we were already perfect the way we were conceived and already worthy of living a joyful life free of unnecessary stresses and burdens. This episode was your sign to rest and give yourself the compassion and the love that you so freely give to others so that you can grow without burning out and having drawbacks. You were listening to the Supernova Shift podcast. I highly recommend you check out my Instagram, where I post motivational quotes, recipes, lifestyle, and many other things. And spread the love as always by sharing this episode with friends, loved ones, and I'll see you next Monday for a brand new episode.